Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into another Lego mod. This is in regards to the Lego the Star Destroyer. So I bought a couple extra spare pieces recently from Lego and I wanted to see about modding this. And it was actually something that I wanted to try to work on for a while. And I don't honestly, just looking at it, I don't think it's gonna work right off the top of my head. But I have a couple of other options as well that I can kind of implement to see if they will work as an alternative. So what I wanted to try to do, and this would be a tall order, was trying to see if I had enough room. Let me just zoom in a little bit and see if this helps for where I'm trying to show you guys. What it is that I wanted to try to do was actually see if I had enough room back there to kind of do a little, and I so don't have even close to the room to do it. So I almost don't even want to say it. I wanted to see if I could have created a room back here, a tiny room, and then where I have beds that I would be able to put stormtroopers. Now, I actually came up with the bed design, but unfortunately it's kind of tall. So I already know it's not going to fit in there off the height. I realize that now, regardless of anything. I'm going to take these crates out. Having trouble with that one. Okay, what's in these things anyway? This one has one of those thermal detonators. And this one has a gun and some binoculars. It's interesting because I had an extra one of those recently. I wonder where I put them. But anyway, one of the thermal detonators. So this was the bed design that I came up with. And it works as a bunk bed. It's as low profile as that it can be while still having a minifigure fit in it. And I'll use an example with my other second bunk bed I did with my bootleg Dash Rendar figure. He's really a Han Solo with just some red hair. And you can see there that this is the minimum height you can have where a minifig can lay down underneath there. Make sure those are flush. And then you have the top bunk. And this doesn't need to be there, but this is just to give it that kind of rounded off effect. So what I'm gonna do is plop these off because there's no way that's gonna make the clearance. That doesn't look as cool, but nonetheless. And I'm gonna see if I could at least get one of these in here and if it can close. I don't know. Well, hold on. I gotta have a figure laying down on top of there. So what I'll do is I'll take, since I don't want to move the rest of my guys out right now, what I'll do is just take my Dash Rendar out and put him on the top. There he goes. He's just a Han Solo character with the red hair because I couldn't find a Dash Rendar figure and I had an extra Han Solo without hair and without a pistol. And so I had a spare one because when I ordered them off Amazon, they had to send me a second one because this one came without hair and without pistol. So they sent me the correct one and I had an extra one without hair and without a pistol. So got him some red hair and he's now my Dash Rendar. So we're gonna see if he can have the clearance. Unfortunately, that means I won't be able to actually have a room, but I can still have the bunk bed there. So I don't know if that makes it okay to not be able to have a room. Now, obviously a stormtrooper, is that gonna work? It actually might work. Okay, I didn't realize it was gonna, I thought that the clearance would totally not make it. Actually, I think the clearance is enough that I can even leave those, these pieces on there. I think it's still making the clearance. It does suck that it's not, yep, it makes the clearance. So that makes it look even better. Now it does suck that we don't have, let me pull back a little bit for a second. It does suck that we don't have enough room to make it a room But at least that made it. At least that worked. I'm really happy about that right now because that actually gives me a lot more options than what I thought. I didn't think this was gonna make it. I'm gonna put the reference, I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video. The reference of this model is gonna be in the title, of course. So that goes without saying. So you know which one I'm doing mods for, even though most people who are fans of Lego would know and can tell anyway. But so that, I mean, the look is not great. I really want, in my mind, I had this imagination that I was going to be able to, you know, make a little square room. And I did that one time before. Let me chuck Vader out of there for a second. The big man. And of course, nothing comes up when you want it to come up. Sorry, buddy, I got to move you. One mod I did, I put the spinning thing on this. This is going to be annoying. Trying to get this whole thing off. It's like the whole thing is going to have to come off just to get it up. So that part sucks. What I wanted to demonstrate was the little wall setup. I did it in a past video, but I just want to see if that would be able to show you guys that now. Let me see if I move this chair, will that help? To pull this up a little bit. Well, a little note to you guys, if you guys ever decide to do this, just know you might permanently have this thing down there. There we go. So now what I did before, let me just put this bed back together, just for the sake of having it back together. And look at that too. I actually realized too, you could do it this way and where both people are going opposite sides, heads facing different way. But yeah, we won't do it like that for now. So that's the bed setup and it actually works. So there's two things before I get to that. I have a couple of black bricks that I bought just for this purpose. And I use some of them on the bunk bed, so I'm just gonna freehand here. So originally my mindset was to make a tiny room that would have been something like, they're not going to align directly on where they should right now, simply because, you know, these are not, if they were like bricks that didn't, like, you know, a full length or whatever the case is, they would just be able to go over the empty space like that. But essentially creating a little room. Obviously you can't get a lot of height on there, but judging from the bunk bed height tells me I could at least get a good, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 3 and 2/3 studs high of a wall. And that would have kind of been the idea. So let's just build that up a little bit just for the purpose of depicting that. I know I got some, do I have some more gray bricks? I do. Just to kind of get the height on the wall going. Then that's probably, what did I say, 3? I said 3 and some change, yeah, so that would go like that. I'll take some of the sides off my other bunk bed. like I said, this is just to illustrate that wall. So unfortunately, it covers up the little machine in the back, the computer. When you do this, it's just, you know, a casualty of war when it comes to this kind of situation, unfortunately. But the idea would have been the room, and I was going to try to see what can I do with that space. Unfortunately, having a bunk bed like that, the height of the room takes away from the element of feeling like you're in a room. Now, if I had a lower bed, and I'll just take this off just for the purpose of putting it there. And the problem with this is, obviously, it wouldn't even have to be the extra, you know, there would be 6 studs wide rather than 8, because the bunk bed makes it 8. But you'd be able to put it in there, maybe even put like a little desk next to the person. It'd be a room, and that could be like, say, something like a Vader room. And actually, matter of fact, I don't even know why I bothered to do this, because I actually had something for that purpose, actually. And that was these. I totally forgot that I had these. I bought these. They didn't have them in black. I wanted them in black. So it kind of sucks that someone could see right through if Vader is, or whoever would be. If this was a room, it's supposed to be for stormtroopers, but unfortunately now I see it's not going to be enough to hold more than one stormtrooper. So I wouldn't want to give one stormtrooper a room. In that case, it'd have to be Vader's room, because if someone's getting a room, it's not going to be just a single stormtrooper. But that right there was to allow that. Like I said, they don't have black, unfortunately. That's all they had. But you needed those elements, so that way if someone was to lay down, let me get the Dash Rendar character again, then his arms can go indent into that space, you see? So now he can lay down, and then maybe one of these would be like the doorway entrance. I'd have to have another piece here that closes that, but you get the idea. And it'd be like a little room. You know, you could dress it up with like I said, something here. I wouldn't put that, but you know, maybe something here, like a sink you could make, or whatever you would put that as. These things can also equally go on this side, those two cargo containers. So it's not like, you know, you have no place to put them. That was a possibility, especially since before I had mentioned I wanted to put a throne seat for Vader, and I might still be able to do that, but it didn't seem to work out at the time I was doing it. I might have to do some more modifying for it. But the point that, I'm sorry, I was pointing here. You guys didn't see it because of the angle. But what I was saying is here, I tried to put a throne here, and I wasn't able to do it. I may have to still play around with things, but I didn't have enough room. But as far as this goes here, if I wanted to make Vader have his own personal chamber, I could do that. Like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this a little better. Maybe I'd have to get a, let me see. I've actually got a piece perfect for that, and that I just thought about in the extras that I bought. Just to give you guys heads up, the video is going to be a little long. Do not mind. I'm sorry. But this is more of just kind of a rant, leisure type of video, and not so much, you know, if you're thinking it's like some kind of quick review type of thing, it's not that. But anyway, so I've got these that I had as extra pieces, part of the wave of pieces that I just bought. Let me put back together some of the parts of the bed. Did I just take these off for something else? No, that's fine. I took them off the edges of this. Okay. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm just brainstorming right now. But you can see here by doing this. Now, like I said, granted, it does really suck that this is glass, because, I mean, no one should be looking at Vader sleeping in there. That's just not right. But I don't have black ones. I wish that I did, but because right now Lego.com is not selling standard pieces, they're selling best sellers, which just for quick reference sake, it means the ones that they have, like, since those ones are bought a lot, they have them in like a easy accessible warehouse, where the standard pieces are the more rare pieces that someone will order, which are not readily shipped as quick. Because of that, for the holiday season, they were only selling their best sellers, which in this case, they were just had the glass ones of these indented walls and not black, which I would have preferred black. So maybe I can kind of take them off of another build I might have for the purpose of switching them out. But essentially, this allows the arms to sit there if he wants to lay down. And so I would be able to do that. That little piece like that allows me to put them all in a row. That works a little better. So it covers up those spaces because, there's no studs there. And obviously I'd have to like maybe, put a wall over here. That would be the doorway area right there by his feet. And so right here coming through would be the doorway area. So it'd be like that. And then maybe I could put something here for him. Whatever it might be, I don't know, something that he could, like a little table thing or something like that. I wouldn't want to just put a crate because that just looks too like basic, but maybe create a, I don't know what I would put there, but something like a table or something like that, you know what I mean? Or something, I don't know what he would have. Maybe a table and I'd put something on it, but you get the point. You get the idea I'm saying. It'd have to be something space-like because it's not going to be something that you would have in a modern home, but it'd have to be something space-like. And obviously too, this wouldn't take up that same space because this wouldn't be on the 8x. Let me take this off to give a better sense. Here we go. Of how this would look. So this would actually be, I'm not going to press it down because I'm not going to be able to get it back up. But this would actually be taking up less space. So this would be right there, finishing off at the little entrance ramp. And then, so it's a little less, it's a little more spacious. You'd be able to put something over here, and that would be his little room. So Vader can have his own room. Like I said, I hate that I don't have, that's all they had on the website. I don't have darker colors. A glass like that, it just looks horrible. It looks horrible. Because honestly, they would just be looking at him sleeping. So I definitely have to replace it, but you guys at least get the idea, and you guys could make a mock like that as well. So now you could have Vader have his own little room there. Like I said before, this would be this guy's seat. Sorry guys, just putting on the fan. And so, yeah, it gives us, and yeah, the guy can't really walk by here that good. You could always move the seat over by one. It's fine because there's nothing but space in this corner anyway. So it's not like, he's got to be right up there against the desk. But nonetheless, it's a way to have room. So that's one mod that I'm definitely, if I can't figure out a way to make it a bunk location for the stormtroopers, then I'm definitely going to probably make a little chamber for Vader then, so he has his own room to go to. And like I said, these things here, let me pull back. These things here, the crates can easily fit in that same space over here. The only problem with them being here is that it makes it a little cram with the little hologram thing, but nonetheless, it's better than, I'll put them there now just for the sake of showing. It's better than, trying to make them take up space in that corner so you can see them there. But so that's kind of what I was thinking about. I'm actually glad that the height was able to work better than what I thought it was going to work. The only negative is that I'm not able to get, and having a room for Vader is great. I could really, it's not a big space, but for a single figure to sit there and lay there, I can really play around with that room, that amount of space to make it look good for his little chambers. You got enough studs on the side that you can put something there that will look pretty cool. So that part, I don't have a problem with. There's plenty of things that I could put there. I just got to think about what would go there in a space reference, but I can easily use that space to fit a lot of cool things. My only issue is I really wanted that to be a stormtrooper room. And the thing about it is, if you expanded it out more, you could, but the big problem I would have with that is two things. So the way the setup is now, if you didn't mind gutting this entire setup, right? And I'm just gonna take all this stuff off now just for the sake of brainstorming right now and let you guys know what's going through my mind. But get all this back in frame. And so if you guys didn't mind, like, this, one of the pluses about this set, it's a smaller set than the older versions, but it has so much detail. And part of that detail is the interior detail, which actually is quite amazing. I definitely would say that, and I take nothing away from it with that. Now, with that being said, one of the issues at hand is the fact that if you were to try to make these kind of amazing chambers, you literally have to gut all this stuff out. Those computers, they're cool there. I love the way those computers look. But the problem with them is that if I gutted all this area out, there would be no... Well, maybe it's easier to do on this side, but then I'd have to take this and I have to move it over there. But the reason why it might be easier is because that doesn't have this desk there. So maybe, but then the problem with that is you have this whole little lab area here. And maybe, let's see. Let me pull out so you guys can see what I'm doing when I'm doing it, in case something comes out of frame. But maybe a person could... I don't remember how this desk is attached. I think this desk is actually attached into the base of that piece. And so what sucks is, one, if you were to try to remove that, I think it'd be almost impossible, because this structure that you build up here would be very hard to reverse. I say that to say that if you didn't have this desk here, and if it was possible to be removed, I'm just going to do this quick rant, but I'm not going to actually put this together in this way because it'd be too much work. If you were able to take this desk and remove it, and then you had this desk maybe freehand somewhere else. It didn't have to be in that space, but you could have it freehand over here somewhere. No, I'm sorry. Not here, but you had it on this side. So then you left these things. It might be actually easier to remove these things than it is that thing. But essentially, you would have these things and you move the desk. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart now. Take the desk, move that on this side, cram that somewhere in here with all this stuff here. Obviously, the little crates all over here. So you got everything now on this side. Then you would have room to make this all one big room area. The only problem then again with that also would just simply be the fact that, once again, I love these computer screens, and you would be covering them up. And that would be the only issue with that, is those computer screens will get covered up potentially, unless if all this was gone. So what I'll do is I'll try to mimic it on this side because it's a little bit easier. And of course, that thought that whole thing would come off, and it didn't. Let me see if I can just pull it up. Not that it needs to come up, to be honest with you, but I'll leave it there for right now. Let's see what we can do with this. If this whole side was the room. Now, like I said, I hate the idea of covering up those screens because I think they just look amazing. I hate the idea of covering up these computers, but I would rather cover up one of them than cover up that screen. So I already showed, let me see, where was this on this side? I think I started from here and it worked. So it'd have to be pressed up right against here. See, that's why I gotta remove this. Hopefully I don't have a problem removing it. There we go. That's definitely a structural part because it connects all those pieces in one spot. But I'm gonna attach this back to the bottom of this. And now we can get to work. So we'll take our bunk bed. That goes back as far as that. Let me just lay this down just to make sure that it held. And like I said, it shouldn't be a problem laying there because I don't even have it pushed down all the way. But if I did, I'm sure that would work. So I'm not even going to push it down all the way. We have that. Where's my other bunk bed? We have it right here. Now, if you were able to, let's see, you got the little mouse droid there. If the mouse droid was removed, let me remove him. Sorry, mouse droid, but you are in the way of a critical plan right now that might save the lives of many people. So just imagine if that stuff wasn't there, or maybe you could leave that there and just say, I'm not going to count that as the lab. I'm going to count that as refrigerated drink. Maybe you could even put like, say that it's a little, instead of a lab, that's just like a drink, you know, this is a refrigerator and that's a drink. That's just a computer. That could be any kind of generic computer. Maybe it's them logging in to start their shift or something like that. Obviously, the little train thing doesn't get in the way for anything. So maybe you could leave that there and it doesn't have to be removed. I say that to say you could go like this. And maybe if you had this on a little jumper piece, I don't know how well this will work, but if you could have it like that, it would be very hard to kind of really navigate this setup. It really would. But nonetheless, you get where I'm going with it. That would be 2 bunks right there. Let me angle this up a little bit. That would be 2 bunks right there. Do you know what that means? Okay, well, I'm sure you know what that means, but I'm just going to kind of jump into it because it's a little bit exciting. That is 4 stormtroopers that you could put there. So if you, like me, I have a total of 4 stormtroopers exactly. You can put 4 stormtroopers there. And if you barricaded that, let's get that wall back over here. Even though I wouldn't use it as glass now, I would just do it with whatever. But this is just to give a frame of reference so we, you know, can say we know what we're looking at. I'm not going to plug it in that tight either, but like maybe something like that. And then it would be like, yeah, those are the bunks. Now, if you had this one, at least this would have to be on a jumper to have that angle, because this is not an angle that it could be at regularly. You know, you'd have to have one of those kind of, like I said, at the bottom jumpers. And I hope that wouldn't bring it to a height that would cause a problem with this. It doesn't sit in there all that well. So maybe something has to be figured out. But if a person just, you know, was able to work it and it wasn't that big of a deal, because I think it can be done. Okay, my battery is actually getting really low. So let me try to make sure I get this going. So if you were able to kind of set this up like this, essentially what you would be able to do is then have, you know, that set up as like a little room for them. And you can see right there, I hope you guys can see, it looks pretty decent. I think so. I apologize, you guys, if this video ends up shutting off automatically. Just know I'm gonna have to add something later just to finish it off, unfortunately. But so you can't see all that well, but you get that sense. Like this would be the room wall. I just want it to stand up kind of straight, and that would be at that. Obviously, it doesn't have to take up all of those, so I'd probably only just make up, you know, like 2 of those and then 1 walkway through there, just to give the illusion like there's a door. You set up the wall the way you want. It's not a proper wall, but you get the idea, and you'd have that room. So that's a possibility too. And then you could then take all these things, the cargo and all that stuff, and put it on that side, cram it on the other side, and it would essentially should work without a problem to cram all that on the other side over here. And then, yeah, you have this whole kind of thing where you got troopers stored inside there as a bunk. So now that I saw that that's actually somewhat possible, I'm definitely going to work on seeing if I can make that work. And if I'm able to do it in a way where it fits without messing everything up, then I will. It's unfortunate that this means that this wasn't going to come down. Not that someone would open that up and play with it much anyway. So you really don't need to do that. And if so, you can always just take the bunk out and simulate that they opened that up. So I'm going to try to play around with things, but definitely, yes, I'm great to see that it kind of is a little bit able to kind of work. All right, everybody, I am quickly back, and I'm going to insert this right before the camera ends, right before the video ends, or tag it onto the very end. But I had to recharge my phone, which I'm using to record. And so I figured out a setup for this. So what I ended up coming up with that worked is, you obviously can see let's see. So this is the setup that I came up with. I moved everything over to the other side, which you can see over there. So I just mirrored everything onto the other side because there's plenty of room for that. And then for here, what I did was I took one of those pieces with the stud and one without, just for the one without is just for support. The one with stud is to hold the bed or the bunk in place. So that way it could be at an angle. This one I didn't press down hard yet, because obviously you've seen last time when I put it down, it was hard to remove. So I just wanted to give the setup there of how it would look. That's a general wall. I don't know if I would keep that wall looking like that, but nonetheless, it's the wall that I had set up already for the video here. And I moved the mouse droid, so I'm gonna have to put the mouse droid back in some place if I'm gonna leave this setup. But mouse droid can go anywhere pretty much though, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm just gonna plug them in actually right over by this side here. He could be over there, that's not a problem. Now, you see how the setup works. So what I'm gonna do now is plug in a few stormtroopers just to see how that looks. Obviously they can't have their helmets on, and I don't really have a place to put their helmets otherwise. But I have a total of 4 stormtroopers. I'm only gonna put 3 on here because the other one is I think his title is artillery 1, or however you say that, and he's got a big backpack on him that I don't feel like taking off. And let's see, we got this one over here. Put him down here. Maybe I'll face it the other way where the head's face that way, I don't know, but anyway, that doesn't really matter. I'm gonna throw this around. Now the one who comes with this set is the female one up there, but you can see there the bunk setup. And I think it works pretty nice. You can see how it looks with the space. It's enough space. This would be, say, the entrance to the come in. There's no door there, but you know, you have the wall. Like I said, I prefer for that to be a solid wall rather than a glass. But you know, if someone needs to use this for anything, I wouldn't even consider it a lab anymore. I just consider a utility area where they would have stuff for them, you know. And even though this can't really open up for you to get access to it, great. I mean, you don't really have to play in that space, you know. It just has to be where you could imagine that they're able to do it, and this can come down. So, but worst case scenario, you can pick this up and remove it off because it's only attached by one stud. So you take it up, put your figures in it, and that shouldn't be a problem. As far as just the whole situation goes, everything, the living situation, I put everything over that side that was there. It's still not covering up the screen. Yeah, you are losing that monitor over there, but that's fine. And I think it's pretty decent in that regards. And you could see there from the side how the setup looks. And, you know, you could have, I'm going to just throw in my, since I have him handy, my Dash Rendar figure. Put him here, it works perfect. And as I already demonstrated, it should be able to close without a problem. And even though I'm not gonna keep that down, this person's gotta move their hands down, of course. And it should work. This shouldn't be an issue for the most part. Let's see. What am I touching? Is it touching? I can't even really tell if it's just, it feels like it's higher up, but I don't know exactly if it's touching this or not. Because if it's this, I can take that right off. Because keep in mind, that's elevated because of it being on the jumper plate. So I understand that. maybe it's this. And if it's this, that's not a problem, because when I press down, it gets lower. Let's see if it was that. And I'm going to have a hard time taking that off later. Yeah, I believe it was that. I can always leave that end piece off here if that was an issue too. It makes it a little out of alignment, but I'm not 100% sure what exactly is rubbing or what's touching. It is this piece here. It is, so. But it's very close. It's very close. Let me see if I can move this over just a little bit. I mean, I could do that if we got to move it just to adjust it. That sucks, though, to do that. It's better where it was. Now I feel like this side is hitting, or is it just the way it's coming down, landing? Let's see. But for the most part, I think that it's good for the most part. I mean, it is a little bit, it makes it, it does poke up a little bit. I don't know, what do you guys think? If you feel that that works, I mean, it still makes it mostly flush. There is a bit of tension that's pushing down and crunching stuff, but it's not that noticeable, I don't feel. You can see here with the alignment, it's a little bit off, but nonetheless, you have a full bunk space for stormtroopers. I think that is a win right there. I really think that's a win. This video is going to be super long. Sorry about that, but I think that's a win. We have stormtrooper quarters inside the Star Destroyer. And matter of fact, so you can see here how the clearance is here on the bunk beds. I'm sorry, I didn't have it in frame. Here on the bunk beds, the truth is, now that I think about it, I could actually shave the height on this by taking this right here, and instead of having that full block, I could put either 2 plates on each side, so 2/3 a brick. I don't think 1/3 a brick will work. It kind of maybe could, but 2/3 would bring this down just a little bit, and it should work like that. So I could lower this a little bit, compress it a little bit, and then it definitely should work completely. So that's an option too. So with that being said, I definitely then at that point think I could squeeze this. And this one may need to be compressed a little bit more than the other one because it has the jumper piece underneath holding it a little bit higher. But yes, so definitely the solution is there. This can be done. It's not a problem. And that is pretty awesome. It just slides right in there, punches down, and that's it. And yep. So we've got a stormtrooper bay. And now this right here is able to hold 4 stormtroopers in their sleeping quarters. Granted, that takes away you having room for them just walking around the chambers and things of that sort, but at least you have them. And I foregone having a chamber for Vader, but I think I like the idea of having an area for the stormtroopers even more than having a space for Vader, like Vader's chamber. But you could go with either one because you could turn that into Vader's chamber if you needed to and make it a single bed. But 4 stormtroopers is awesome. It's actually really awesome that you could hold that now. So granted, it would be great if this was a bigger ship, but having that at least lets you say, okay, this can also act as a ship where you have a bunch of troops in it as well. So if it landed onto wherever it landed, whatever planet, you'd be able to say, cool, I can unleash 4 stormtroopers come running out of it. And the stormtroopers are not, just in some space where you just have them crammed in little random corners. They're actually laying in their room in their, little setup. Granted, they don't have a lot of room to walk around, but if you needed to, when this is open up for display purposes, they could be standing around on the side in their area. It's not a lot of room, but nonetheless, it's still something that you could do. That's their little room area. So comment down below. What do you guys think? You guys, yeah. All right, you guys, I'm just, as always, you guys like, share, comment, subscribe, put your comments down below if you guys, like this idea, or if you guys think you want to try something similar to this or anything of that sort. And as always, you guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video.